Once I had a guy making 6 figures plus a year look me in the eyes and tell me he hates his life. A few years ago, I was working at a mine, and honestly, it was really depressing me. And at some point, I just realized this is not what I want out of life. This is not what my goal is. And I decided I'm going to quit. And I didn't really have a plan, but I just knew that this was not it. And I got mixed support. Like, some people were thinking, yeah, that's good, like, get out of that place. And other people were thinking, why would you quit such a great job? Like, you were set up to make so much money and you had everything going for you. Well, I really didn't know if I was making the right choice, but I was just following my heart, essentially. And I just knew that it wasn't for me. I needed to do something else. And I remember one of the last nights that I was working, I took a break, and I was in the break shack on the mine site, and the manager called, I think, on the radio to ask if I was there, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, stay there. And so a few minutes later, he shows up into the break shack, and he's like, hey man, do you mind coming for a drive with me? I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I went out and got in his truck, and we drove for a while, and we were just kind of making small talk, just asking me, I don't know, how I was doing, what I thought. And we drove out into this restricted area of the mine, and eventually out to this viewpoint. And he like stops the truck, and he like looks at me, and he's like, so can I ask, why are you actually quitting? I was like, I don't know, man. I just don't think this is the life for me, you know? And he's like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I'm going to go traveling. I'm going to go to Norway in a couple weeks and do some volunteer work. And then after that, I don't know. And he was like, good for you, man. And he's kind of gets all serious, and he's like, you know, I've been working here for a long time, doing this type of work, and I make a lot of money, you know, like a lot of money, actually, more than I need, in a way. And he's like, but I'll be totally honest with you, man. And he looks at me and he goes, I hate my life. And I was like, wow. You know, and that kind of broke my heart in a way. And the thing is, right, like, I respected this guy. Like, the whole time I worked there, he was totally fair to me. And he always had a good attitude. Like, I never had any issues with him. Every time I saw him, he was friendly. If I ever had some sort of trouble, he usually helped me out. Like, he was good at his job, in my opinion. He was good to me, and that's what mattered to me. And the thing is, too, is like, this guy, he was a good guy. He wasn't lazy. You know, he did everything right. And yeah, he made a lot of money. But the fact that he just looked at me and told me he hates his life. And I believed him. And it was just really interesting that he decided to take me aside specifically. I mean, people quit that job all the time. And yeah, sometimes like they ask more casually because they need to put something in their report or whatever, like to send to headquarters, like, why did this guy quit? But it wasn't about that. Like, I had already filled out the paperwork. Like, he actually just wanted to know, like, why was I leaving? And it seemed like he also just wanted someone to tell the truth. And it was kind of, yeah, a really upsetting moment in a way, but it was also highly motivating. Like, I was really glad that this guy did that, because like I was having a lot of doubts, like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, maybe I am completely out of my mind quitting this job. I got a good setup here and all this. But I always thought, like, I didn't want to be that person, you know? A long time ago, somebody asked me, like, what is your biggest fear in life? And I had to think about it for a moment. I guess some people would say, like, ridiculous things like sharks, or I don't know, something simple, like, and maybe someone would say something deeper, like, oh, I fear that I'd never find love. Like, that's a common one, I think. Or I fear I never find my purpose. But I thought about it and I said, I fear that I live a life that's not worth living. Or that one day I wake up and look back at my life and think, exactly like he did, like, I hate my life. And in that moment, I realized when this guy told me that, like, I'm doing the right thing here. Because, yeah, maybe I didn't have a perfect plan, and maybe I didn't know exactly what I was getting myself into, but I knew that I was moving towards something that meant something to me. It's not easy to take that leap. And honestly, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I know that I don't regret that decision to leave that job, that's for sure. And honestly, since that time, I would say I've done everything I can to make my life worth living, whatever that means. You know, I've traveled across a bunch of countries now, and I've met incredible people, and people that have become friends for life. And I've experienced things that realistically no amount of money can replace. But I still think about that moment that guy said that to me. Because after what he said too was, he was like, good for you, man, when I told him what I was doing, and he says, I only got a few years left here, man. Like I made my money, I did my time, and I know it's too late for me now. Like I only got to do a few more years, then I'm out of here. But he's like, don't be like me, man. Go and live your life. It was a hell of a thing. And like in some ways I think, you know, I don't owe that guy anything, of course. And sometimes I think though too, like I gotta live my life for the people that can't. Because I know there's some people that, you know, illness got the best of them, or some sort of hardship that prevents them from doing what they really want to. And I figure what a waste it would be if I didn't try my best to enjoy the time that I was given. And I'm not doing it for them though. Like, I'm doing it for myself. And that's really it. You only owe it to yourself to live the best life that you can with the time that you're given here on this earth. Never thought I'd be sitting at a viewpoint in Lisbon telling a story like that.